Welcome to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Main, awesome wife and dog mom for life. I'm a sex therapist turned sex coach, and I run a successful business selling relationship enhancement products. I absolutely love talking about all things sex. So you can expect this podcast to explore all things related to women's sexual health because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you discover and embrace what brings you pleasure so that you can own your sexual self. If that sounds good to you, then keep listening and let's fucking do this. All right, hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. So happy to have you here today on this Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it is that you're listening to this. If you follow me on Instagram, you are actually able to see the live video version of this. I'm also recording here on my phone to post this video and podcast recording on IGTV. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, you can go over there, click follow. It's at @the_Rachel_Main. And this episode is very near and dear to my heart. It is definitely one that is vulnerable for me to share. It's definitely a piece of my past. And in reworking my course, Sexual Compass Academy, which is my signature course, there's been a lot of things that have been kind of digging up for me and peeling back the layers of why. Why is this course so important to me? Why is it so important to me that I'm able to offer this to other women? And really, what part of my past and my experiences helped me get to this place that I am today, in a place too that I'm able to now hold space for other people that are going through something similar. And while my story obviously is very unique to me, you may relate in some ways. You may not relate in some ways, but you can take pieces and parts of my story and fit it into how it would be relatable to you. And so without further ado, before getting into this, I really want to state that this is a piece of my history. There's no changing that. Choices that I've made, people that I've decided to have relationships with or not have relationships with, how I reacted to things, my behaviors, my words, my feelings around things. Again, this is something that's super vulnerable and emotional for me to talk about. And also, I want that to be said and known that this is not me throwing shade at anybody from my past. You know, there's going to be people that I mentioned in this story, and a lot of people that I know listen to this podcast. So you may know the people that I'm mentioning in this. And again, there is no shame to them. You may be one of the people that I'm mentioning in this podcast recording. No shame to you. It is what it is, right? We are where we are now. And I will say this, there is not one single thing that I would change about my past, because had it not been for this moment, this experience, this situation, I wouldn't be where I am today. So again, no shade. Please also no shade at me or harm towards me, because here I am just speaking my truth and just sharing my story and sharing with you all specifically, again, why this story, it helped me create this program. It helped me literally create my masterpiece of Sexual Compass Academy. And while this experience that I'm going to share with you is about 9 years ago, where this kind of all rooted from, it took me, I'm not going to say a full 9 years, because I feel like I've been living a sexually confident life in so many ways, but I'm going to share with you pieces of my journey where sexual confidence has played a huge part in my life as a role, in how confidence has showed up in other areas of my life. When I say that, I mean having a voice in the bedroom with sexual partners, now with my husband, having the freaking balls to leave my government paid job to pursue a career in sex therapy and sex coaching full time, right? Like, most people wouldn't do that in a lifetime. And again, through this practice, through this securing myself and getting secure with myself and digging deeper and deeper and deeper and doing the work on my own, I've been able to do things like that. I've been able to set better boundaries with family members, with friends. I've been able to have more fulfilled relationships with friends and family. I've been able to be more mindful of things. And more often I've been able to have more confidence when I walk into a room of people that I never know, right? Like I do peer romance parties as part of my living. I many times walk into rooms where I may only know one person. Sometimes I don't know anybody that's there. I'm just meeting everybody for the first time, coming into their homes to present them with, bedroom accessories and talk about the most intimate parts of their life. That takes grit, right? Like that takes confidence. And so anyways, I wanted to just share that little segue into this story. Again, this is something that, it's me. It is who Rachel Maine is, formerly known as Rachel Busey. This is the person that I was back in the day, if you will. All right. So here we go. So I remember it literally clear as day. I was sitting in our apartment in Westland, Michigan, and I remember sitting in the living room. It's Thursday night, got my wine, maybe it was hot chocolate, I don't remember what I was drinking, but I had my beverage. Thursday night is my jam. It's my Thursday night shows when I watch all my things, right? It's like one of my favorite nights of the week. And I remember sitting in the leather recliner. It's right by the window. We had a sliding door in our apartment, so I could feel the breeze coming in. I always was like so cozied up in a blanket because it was always so cold sitting in that spot, yet it was the best spot in the apartment to sit. It was closest to the TV. I could kick back, I could relax. Amazing, right? So I'm all in my vibe, not to mention this is just a few weeks before Christmas, so I'm surrounded by Christmas lights. We had our apartment all decorated. It was just a sight to see, right? In walks my boyfriend at the time, and I'm sitting in the chair. He's leaning over the couch across from me, so I'm kind of looking at him like this. He's leaning over with his arms up on the couch and begins to tell me in words that I cannot quote him on this because I literally went blank. I have no recollection of this part. But he proceeds to tell me that essentially our relationship is over. We have been together for 5.5 years. Our relationship is over. He is going to be going and staying with a family member. He will be basically fully moved out within the next few weeks. He did offer to still help me with paying rent, half of the rent, which was nice of him. I don't actually even remember if that happened or if I ended up just keeping the apartment on my own because we still had several months until our lease was up. But I just remember sitting there and feeling completely blindsided. I had essentially no idea this was coming. And on the other hand, I knew it was just a matter of time until the shoe dropped. So let me give you some background on this relationship. We, again, had been together for 5.5 years. This was what I call a loveless relationship. Was there love on my end? Yes. I loved this person. I told this person often that I loved them, probably every day from the moment that I knew that I loved them. And never once did he ever say that back to me in 5.5 years. Never once. That is super hard for me to say at this point in my life because to think about who that girl was at that time and to think about my level of confidence, the lack of self-esteem and lack of self-confidence that I had in myself at that time, it truly makes me so sad that I stayed in that relationship and that I kept giving and giving and giving so much love to this person and never once did I ever feel it in return. And this, again, is not to throw shade on this person at all. Some of you, again, you know who I'm talking about, is not to throw shade on this person at all. That is their own thing that they needed to address and figure out, right? Do I think that they loved me? Yes, I do believe that this person did love me, which is probably why I stayed for 5.5 years. But along the course of this relationship, that lack of love and that knowing that I felt love from this person or felt, what is the word I'm looking for? Felt just needed and wanted by this person, that slowly kept diminishing. there was no emotional connection that was happening in this relationship, and the physical intimacy kept slowing back and gradually declining as well. So that's why I say, on one hand, I was completely blindsided. Did I think that I was about to get broken up with a couple weeks before Christmas? No, definitely not. However, as I said, there were little things that I can see now in our relationship that were adding up that it was literally just a matter of time. Now, a little bit more background on me and my issues. I have always been somebody that I have been a serial monogamy dater. Serial relationships, one after the other. Never really ever, until the time up and before I met Danny, had I ever been single in my life. Literally. All right, so what is that, like 24 years or something? Pretty much when I was old enough to start dating and did start dating, I had a boyfriend or somebody that I was pursuing or somebody pursuing me at that time. I had also never been broken up with. So this was a time for me, like, again, I said, I was completely blindsided. I don't even remember how I responded to him in this way. I don't know if I was angry. I don't know if I shut down. I don't know. I just remember trying to hold it together. I remember trying to be strong. I remember trying not to cry. And that's the most of what I remember from this time. Obviously, got things and left, and that is what it is. We also worked together, so even after this incident, I had to continue seeing him at work. I would see him in passing when he would come to get his things, and as he was moving out, it fucking sucked, right? Like, let's just call it, it fucking sucked. So this was a time, again, I did not see this coming, so there was nobody else in the mix that I was pursuing at this time. There was nobody else that I had my eyes set on or that I couldn't wait to start a relationship with or anything like that. It was just me. Me in this apartment in Westland, which was a half hour away from my friends and family. I pretty much was out there by myself figuring it out. I worked in Ann Arbor at the time, so I had coworkers that I would see on a regular basis that helped me through this. But the main point of this and why this was such a monumental time of my life is because this was the transition for me. This was the starting point of me figuring out who the fuck I am. And that feels really amazing to say. And I think for a lot of people listening or watching this right now, you can probably think of a time where you felt your lowest, you felt your smallest, your weakest, and that was the time that you decided to make things happen. You decided to do something different and make something of yourself or make something for yourself. And that's exactly what I believe that I did. And so in this time, I allowed myself to be single. I allowed myself to have fun. I went on a girls' trip. We took a cruise for a week, totally unplugged. That was such an amazing time. Again, I had nobody that I was pursuing. Did I date people? Did I see people? Was I talking and sexting to some people? Sure, definitely. And here's another piece of the story that not a lot of people know. As soon as I said, serial monogamy dater, can't be alone, doesn't know how to be alone, scared to be alone, that's me, don't worry, lots of therapy in the past couple of years helped me through that shit. But so what happens? I'm single, it's Christmas, I'm sad, I'm lonely, what do? I go back to what I knew and what was comfortable for me. So I seek out an ex who also happened to be single at that time, get my hookups in. A part of this was comfort. A part of this also was I was so afraid to have sex with more people. I was so afraid of being looked at as a slut or somebody that slept around or got over a relationship through sex or anything like that, that I went back to somebody, another toxic part of my life. I went back to that toxicity to essentially feel that, to get that need, to feel like I was wanted again. And God, there's so much that really goes into the story, and I could just pick it apart at this time and think, oh, that's from that childhood trauma, and that's from that thing that this person said to me growing up, and that's from this, and that's from this attachment style. And it's crazy. And that's part of the things that I help people do in Sexual Comps Academy is peel back the layers of their own story and start this journey with themselves, figure out what it was from their past that is shaping who they are today, and how specifically they're operating in their sexual lives and in their relationships. So again, go back to this person of the past. That did not last very long. Again, I was wanting to be in this like single lifestyle. Very quickly did it feel like it was falling back into another relationship, a rebound relationship, really. But again, somebody that was providing me with that comfort, somebody that I knew. And so that ended after, I don't know, a few weeks, month. Got through Christmas with this person, so I didn't spend Christmas alone. And then broke that off. And then fully single, which was incredible. I wish, however, that I would have slutted it up back in the day when I when I had the opportunity. That is definitely a regret of mine. I wish that in general in my life that I would have had sex with more people, because now I'm happily married to my husband. We are in a monogamy relationship, and so it's same penis forever from here on out until maybe one day that changes. We'll see. But for right now, that is the outlook of our future. So anyways, again, this is my podcast, so you're getting the longish version of this story. Most people just get the short version, and the short version looks like this. Yeah, I had a breakup, was single, figured out myself, and now here I am. There's so much more to it than that. So anyway, so this forced me to be single. This forced me to figure out who I was. This forced me to really know and understand who it was that I wanted to become. And I knew that I wanted a certain type of person. I knew that I wanted somebody that I could feel safe in a relationship with. I knew that I wanted somebody that was going to take responsibility for their actions. I knew that I wanted somebody that I could trust. I knew I wanted somebody that would love me and show me that they loved me and care for me in the way that I very much so needed. But for a while, for what was this, six-ish months I gave myself. So 6 months of working on myself, so starting to read the self-help books, starting to spend more time with friends, invest time in the people that matter the most to me, exercising more, dieting more. I did discover that I liked wine during this time. Yeah, so I was not drinking wine the night of the breakup. It was during this time that I started to basically force myself to drink wine because everybody else was doing it, and it just felt right. I was growing up basically during this time to start drinking wine. Okay, so I start going through this time. I start treating myself as the way that I want others to treat me, treating myself as I know I deserve to be treated. And ultimately, that is what led, what I believe, is Danny to re-enter my life. I just made a post recently again on Instagram that a lot of people don't know that Danny and I have known each other literally almost our entire lives, all through childhood, all through middle school, high school, all the things, and never really talked to each other, which is crazy, right? And it wasn't until after college where both of us had just got out of long-term relationships. We had both been living this single lifestyle for a while, for a few months, and we reconnected through social media. From that moment that we reconnected, I'm not kidding you, this was in April. Was it April? Yeah, April. And we reconnected the first time we see each other. He comes over to our friend's house, or who I was living with now at the time, no longer in the apartment, moved in with a friend. We had a house party. Danny comes with all his friends. We have an amazing night together. Again, first time we really like saw each other and talked in person. We had been texting and things like this. This story's so wild to me still. And at that night when he was leaving, he kissed me goodbye. And I will never, ever, ever, ever forget that moment, because that was the moment that I knew he was my person. The way that kiss happened so passionately, the way that he embraced me, the way, just literally everything about it. I knew. I literally knew that he was the one. And I believe that it was because I took the time to start this journey of the person that I wanted to be. I started to love myself. I started to do the things that felt good to me. I had nobody else influencing me. I had nobody else that I was quote unquote doing it for. And really that was the beginning of this, what I deem as sexual confidence. I started masturbating more. I started trying new things with myself more. I tried trying new foods more, even new exercises, joined a new gym, moved in with my best friend. And I will say that part of those last couple months that I did live by myself was also amazing, because again, it forced me to be alone. It forced me to do the things that I wanted to do, take care of myself, pick up after myself. which was amazing, right? Sad, yes, but amazing. You have to make the best of it. All right, so that is really that is a situation. That is what shaped me to have sexual confidence. That was the start of all of this. And as I mentioned earlier, this sexual confidence, when I could start feeling this in myself, when I then met Danny, I knew how I wanted to be treated. And again, as I was treating myself like that, that showed him how I wanted to be treated. I had enough confidence to start having sexual conversations with him early on in the relationship. We talked futuristic conversations with each other very early on in the relationship. Again, I think that both of us just knew as soon as we connected, we just knew that this was it. But previously, I would never have done those things. I would have been in a relationship 100% always catering to the other person, never doing something for myself really, always doing something that basically that, the other person wanted. For instance, I felt like I was almost like a chameleon. I was trying to just do the things that I thought other people wanted me to do. And here's a perfect example. At one point in my relationship with my ex, he had tickets to a Lions game, sports game out here, Detroit Lions. He had tickets, he had 3 tickets, and he was going to take his brother, which I knew great. And instead of taking me, he took another female mutual friend of ours, which was actually more so my friend, if I really think about it. And it was her, him, and his brother that went to this game. And his reasoning behind this was that I didn't like football. So why would he want to take me to a football game if I didn't like football? Which I 1000% call bullshit. I still believe to this day that there was something going on between him and this girl. But that's okay. But what did I do? After hearing him say, well, I didn't want to take you because you don't like football, what did I do? I fucking joined a fantasy football league with me and a bunch of girlfriends. And I did that so that it would force me to watch football and have an interest in football so that this person would like me more. I am not kidding you. There are several things that I did. Haircuts, nails done, like different things that I did in hopes to feel loved by this person and to specifically hear the words, I love you from this person. So, again, like a chameleon, I morphed myself to do things to appease other people. And after that situation, after this time, I no longer fucking do that. Like, no longer do that. If you know me personally, you know I do what I fucking want. And I do it because it feels good to me. I do it because it feels happy to me. It brings me happiness. And not everybody likes that a lot of the time. Thankfully, my husband is always very supportive of the crazy things that I want to do and that we do together sometimes. So, all this goes to say, when I was able to find my sexual confidence, it allowed me to leave that full-time job that wasn't really bringing me full happiness anymore. My full-time government paid job, literally, I'll never forget how my parents looked at me when telling them I was leaving this job, like I had 3 heads, but I had the confidence to do that. When Danny and our first time putting up a tent together, and we were vacationing together at a friend's house over 4th of July weekend, and we were snuggling up in our little tent, and he proceeds to ask me, so, are you a freak? Which I've talked about that story many times. I had the confidence, right, to have sexual conversations with him, which it did definitely help that he asked first. that made it so I didn't have to ask first. But anyways, so this is what Sexual Confidence Academy, my signature program, this is what I help you do. This is what I help women do. Well, I say for women, but really, if there are men out there, if your partners want to go through some of these things with you, it's probably helpful and beneficial for them to hear this information as well. All right, so in Sexual Confidence Academy, we're going to talk about things that, yes, I feel at the beginning of this, it really does help you go through your past. I have what I call as my document of creating your sex timeline. It's figuring out the pieces of your life, how you remember learning about sex, what you remember learning about sex, what do you remember about learning about masturbation, when did you learn about that, how old were you, who did you learn about it from, what sexual traumas might be present for you, what were your relationships like growing up, how many sexual partners have you had, right? These things all shape a part of who you are today. So when you can put together your own sex timeline, that really helps you see, okay, here's why I was like that. much like I was explaining, here's why I stayed in a relationship for 5 years where I was never told I loved. Here's why I joined a fantasy football league. Here's why I did this. Here's why I said this, right? And that is so helpful for us because then you can say, okay, now here's where I am now. I am right here, right now. I'm investing myself in this program. And here's the things that I want to get from it. I help you set goals for the program. And a lot of the things that I've been doing in the last, I would say, 3-ish years, since getting into sex therapy, since getting into sex coaching, there have been so many things that I've learned about in my sex life, but overall in my life as a woman, that I have then pieced together and put for you inside Sexual Cops Academy. So instead of you being on a 9+ year journey like myself and finding all these things and piecing all of the things together, I've done that for you. I've pieced all the things together that have helped me along this journey of discovering my sexual confidence and living life as a sexually confident person and overall as a confident person, and I've put them into Sexual Cops Academy for you. So we talk about things like your menstrual cycle, for instance. That's something that has been a huge game changer for me in the past year, is allowing myself the confidence to get off birth control, have those parent planning conversations with my husband, make choices together that we both deemed fit for ourselves, discovering and having the confidence to vocally and publicly come out as being people who choose to be child free, right? That takes confidence, that takes bravery, that takes trust and responsibility and caring in relationships. That's what this program helps you do. So menstrual cycle, so tracking that, understanding how you can literally biohack your life, how on this phase, this cycle of the phase, you might be feeling this way, and you could try to incorporate these foods into your diet to help with cramping, help with hormonal acne, things like that. Things that women face. We face this on a monthly basis if you're going through a cycle, right? Which the majority of us are. So that's just a small portion of this. We talk about lubrication, we talk about foreplay. So these are very important things in my life that I've learned along the way. The importance of using lubricant, how to use a lubricant, why to use a lubricant, what lubricants to use, and what situations do I use which lubricant. All of that is in there, as well as foreplay. My favorite F word, right? Foreplay is one of the most important things in a relationship, and it's one of the number one things that most couples lack. So I give you tons of foreplay tips, tons of exercises that you can do either with yourself or with a partner inside Sexual Cops Academy. We talk toys. We talk sexual communication. So at the end of this program, when you figure out all these things, you have all of these really exciting things that you now know about yourself and things that you want to try with a partner. Sexual Confidence Academy gives you that communication tool, how to then have those conversations with your partner, how to share some of this stuff that you've learned and discovered about yourself with friends, family, if you choose to do that, right? So all of this, plus so much more, is jam-packed inside Sexual Cops Academy. Love languages. Again, like all of these things are popping in my head. What else is in there? Love languages are in there. There's 10 modules total. So 10 different things that you're going to go through with accompanying exercises and homeworks and all the things, right? Of course, we're going to talk about self-pleasure. Of course, we're going to talk about orgasm. You get a guided meditation to go through that point of the course. So again, this is going to take you on the journey. It's going to take you on the journey that I've been going through for the past 9 years, and it is all in one convenient spot for you. The best thing about this too is that you get to do it at your own pace. Yes, it's all there. It's all ready for you to access. So if you would like to sit down and hash this out in a week, you can do that. If you are the person that wants to take it week or month by time, maybe you fall off the wagon a little bit, but it's something that you can pick back up and get to whenever you want, because you'll have lifetime access to this program. You'll be able to go back and rewatch modules. You'll be able to do the homework again. And that is so helpful because every 6 months or so, we have major life changes. Our interests are changing. Our wants are changing. Our needs are changing. Our bodies are changing, right? So to have access to this thing for literally the entirety of your life, then that allows you so much opportunity to go back, revisit some of the things, and tweak it to fit how your life is changing. So it takes you on that journey. When you can get your sexual confidence on lock, I promise you, that confidence, because again, sex and finances, right? Two most difficult things for us to talk about. When you can get that sexual confidence on lock and under control, that is going to allow so much more confidence to show up in all areas of your life, which is exactly what I want for you. I want you to be able to walk into rooms where you know nobody with your head held high and start conversations with people. I want you to be able to have the confidence to leave a job that maybe doesn't bring you happiness, or start a new job that you know is going to bring you happiness. I want to give you confidence to start writing that book, start that podcast, write a blog, whatever it is that you want for yourself. And we have to start with our own selves. We have to start by investing that time and energy into ourselves before we can start to branch out and do the things that we think other people are going to want us to do, or we think other people will make us happy. You have to start with yourself. You have to do what you know is going to make you happy. All right, so that was the story. That was the situation. That is why I've created Sexual Comps Academy, because I've gone on this journey. I've done these things, very, very impactful things that have made a difference in my life, made a difference in my marriage, allowed me to even have a marriage and have a strong marriage, definitely. And that's what I'm sharing with you. So I appreciate you all listening today. Thank you for allowing me the space to get a little emotional with you today and share this vulnerable piece of my life with you. Again, this was not to throw shade on anybody. These are just facts from my perspective. This is what happened to me in my life. This is my story. Cannot change that. And again, I wouldn't change it. I would not change it for anything, because had it not been for that relationship, had it not been for that breakup, the time that I went through by myself, the time that I went through with living with my best friend, all of that has led to who I am today. And I'm damn proud of the person that I am today. And I'm so fucking proud that I have the opportunity to create things like this to help other women feel proud like this and feel confidence like this. It literally gives me chills. All right, y'all. So if you're interested in Sexual Comps Academy, you can go to rachelmaine.com, go under the Work With Me tab, click on Sexual Comps Academy. It's going to take you all through the breakdown, all through the thing. You'll see a little blip of my story in there again. And so I appreciate you all listening today. If you have questions, again, DMs are always open. Enrollment is going to be open just for a few weeks for SCA. So if you have questions, don't sleep on it. I'd love to have you. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a thing. And if you loved it so fucking much, be sure to leave a 5-star review. I'll see you next week, and until then, keep owning your sexual self.